Hello YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today I'm going to share the first 24 days of my 100-day project. I am excited about how it's going. It's going really well. I picked the right subjects and the right palette to play with. It has been really nice being so organized, having my sheets cut already, having my ideas going, having a palette chosen. It has taken out all the guesswork, which has been really nice to just sit down and start painting. And for me, that is the ease of the 100-day project, is having it thought out so that I can just come in, start painting without having to gather a bunch of things. Like I said, you have to make it easy for yourself so that it takes 5 to 10 minutes every day. And my projects have been taking that, about 5 to 10 minutes. There are some easier ones, there are a little more complicated ones, but I'm enjoying the process so much. So I want to turn this camera around so that I can show you the beautiful artwork that's been created for the past 24 days. My 100-day project is called Oddities, Headlines, and Landscapes. And I am so glad that I picked 3 totally different items to create around. It has given me a lot to do, a lot to think about, a lot to discover, and I'm having fun playing with each category. So let me share the supplies real quick. I'm using my 2024 Studio palette, and I'm really enjoying getting to know it again. It's been so long since I played with it, but these are the beautiful colors that this palette makes. I chose this one because of the really dark darks and kind of the more medium value. It doesn't have a lot of real light values, but I'm enjoying the medium tones and the really darks of that. That is my whole reason for choosing this palette. I am using this paper, the Fabriano 1264, and this paper is 4 by 8 inches, 140 pound, and there's 30 sheets in this little pad. And what I did was open it, tear the piece off, and then cut my pieces in half so that I'm getting 2 paintings per page, which I'm really liking. And then this is what my stack looks like. Left to paint. I know, it's so exciting, right? And I drew a square on here, and in order to do that, what I did was create a template for myself. So this is just a piece of scrapbook paper that I had laying around, and I made it fit. And then I just take a pencil and draw a line. That was so much easier than marking them off. So it took, I don't know, a couple minutes to do all 100, not a long time at all, but the template really helped for that. So just a hint, if you're wanting to do something like that, take the time to make the template. Just make sure that it's not out of like copy paper. You want it to be a little stronger. If you have cardstock, that will work great. So like my title says, oddities are my figurines or things that I collect. I just really have a lot of them, and they're really fun to play with. The headlines, I've got a little bit of headlines here that I've just torn from different magazines, books, newspapers, whatever I find. And all I do is pull one out. So like this one says paint buckets. This says color mix. This one says we're crushing on blush. And then I just say, what does that mean to me? And then I do art around it. Headlines has been really, really fun for me. And then the landscapes, I have 2 artists that I wanted to explore, Joan Erdley and Shirley Tervana. So right now I've gone through the Joan Erdley book. You can see that I've got little tabs, and that's how I've done my landscapes. And I'll share the getting over my fear of that with you as we go. So these are what they look like. So you can see I've got the template around them. See the little lines going around them? And that's kind of keeping me in check because I don't know what I'm going to do with this, if I'm going to frame them or what I'm going to do, but I wanted to have a nice border around them. So this was my number 1. This was my number 2. And this was my number 3. Now you can see they go together well, right? But yet they're all done differently. And that is the oddity part for me. I didn't want to do just one whole figurine. I wanted to break it apart into the way that I saw the fun in it. So the little bee on the butt here, the little potted plant, which I call a cupcake, her hat and her face. I just think it's so sweet. So I did them individually and it gave me 3 oddities, which was really nice. Then my headlines all have type on them. Remember, part of my quest this year is to do type and to figure out what my text looks like, having fun with different letters and experimenting. So this was number 4. This was number 5, another oddity. Number 6. Number 7, another headline. I want you to see the texture on that. Isn't that beautiful? And this I used masking fluid to outline the word sprouts, and then I just painted over it, and then once it was dry I peeled the masking fluid off. So that was number 7. Number 8, this was another headline called Untaken Voyage. Number 9, this was a headline that said number 12. So I thought of dominoes, so 5, 10, 11, 12. So I just connected the dots. Number 10, 11, and 12. Now those are the ones that I did from the Joan Erdley landscape book. And what I was really nervous about was seeing if I could capture the colors. So this is her book and this is the picture. So my first one, I wanted to do it really similar to that. And I want you to see how heavy this feels. You know, you can't see my splashes that I normally share. It feels more like gouache. It's definitely heavy. There's like not a lot of air. There's a couple little white lines and stuff, but it feels heavy to me. So once I did this first one, I decided that I needed to add more water. So that was number 1. So this was the second version, and you can see it's much lighter. And let me get the book out of the way now. It's much lighter. It's got a lot more air. You can see the colors are a little more transparent. I didn't fill it as solidly because having this one under my belt to just like, okay, I did it. It looks kind of like the book. I'm thrilled with that, but now I can kind of start playing with getting a little looser and a little more splashy and a little more movement in it. Because even though I had movement in this one, what I really liked about Joan's landscapes were the movement and the strokes and just how it made you feel like you were there and you were experiencing the wind and the rain and everything around it. So I felt much better with this one because I liked the way that I did the strokes. I actually added like a little hill here because you can see there's a little hill back here. I like the addition of the colors here. I like the little lightness between the border here and the house. I like the way that it kind of makes the house glow a little bit more. So this was my first attempt, this was my second attempt, and then this was my third attempt. So from this one, what I wanted to do was I wanted it to become even more loose. So I didn't want to have to now think about the landscape anymore. I didn't want it to mimic hers. What I wanted to do was use those same colors now and try to just make it my own. So you can see my strokes are a little more erratic here. I was actually thinking of grasses blowing in the wind, you know, this way and that way, just being in constant movement. I liked back here how I added stripes. So I've got a couple lines like this. The blue I did like this, but then I took my brush and I kind of went up and down in there and it gave me some really lovely marks here. The barn here, you can see I've added a little more depth. It got a little more wide here. I prefer the thinner here, but I like this one. I like the brightness of the house or the barn right here. Notice that on this one the roof came down a little and gave it a little heavier shape there, where this one kind of lost that little edge, but I like the brightness there. It really feels like a sunny morning to me, like a sunrise with just the glow of the oranges and the pinks. So let me bring that one up so you can see. See all the watermarks? Do you see those like brush strokes that go up? And I really, really like this. So by trying and playing with these 3 different ones in one grouping, I was really proud of myself because I have been really nervous about doing watercolor landscapes because I had that fear that it's not going to turn out, I don't know what to do, but instead just taking my time and kind of analyzing the picture and like, okay, so what needs to go down first? And for me, I did all the skies first just to get those so that they could dry. And then I started working on the landscape itself. And that gave me like a pause. The sky I knew I could do because it's just a couple of colors. So that kind of was gearing up my gumption, right? It was giving me confidence to go forward. And then once I started, I think all of these with the house or the barn. And then I worked from the background to the foreground. Well, I probably worked background, yes, this way, and then to the foreground. And that was really nice that I kind of made them all the same. So I did the same kind of steps in all 3. And by the time I got to this one, I really wasn't thinking even landscapes anymore. What I was actually just thinking about is brush strokes. Show more strokes, show movement, show art marks, show whatever you want to do, but make it so that it has movement. And you can see the movement from here to here and then from here to here is just really different. This is a lot more energetic because I'm less afraid. And from there, that was number 12. This was number 13, diaper pins. Do you even remember those? I found those in an antique mall and I had to have them. So that was 13. This was another headline. The headline was number 5. So I thought of a dice right away. And then I thought of peas. I know of all the things, I think of peas, but I wanted green, I think, is why. So I've got 5 peas there. I just really love this. And I love that it's low to the horizon, right? So if you cut this, it's almost like the bottom third of the whole space. And I love that because it really is containing itself. And it's odd, right? I like that. And then this was number 15 and 16. So this is the head. This is the side of the little, this is a precious moment pig. So there was 15 and there was 16. I love that. 17, another landscape. Now this one didn't have a house or anything, but it did have these birds in the background, and my birds are really big. But I liked this little white space here. It was almost like a sun reflecting off of a pond. Have you ever seen the pond where it gets really, really bright? That's kind of how I looked at this area, the sky, the sun, and the reflection. And then all of this is the grasses and the flowers in the foreground. And then I added the birds. Again, another landscape, and look how messy it is. I'm thrilled with that. That was 17. 18 was oddballs. And when I thought about it, I thought of billiard balls, but I have a tiny game of billiards. I mean, the pool balls are only like this big, so it was perfect for this. Number 19 is another still life. And this one, I want you to see all the movement in there. I was wanting to leave more white space because I didn't do that with the first ones, and I really left a lot of white areas here, and I like it better because it is giving me a little bit of brightness everywhere, but I also like the little bit of the teal sky up here. I thought that was really fun. And then this was number 20. This came from the same photo as this. It was actually this way, but I broke it into 2 areas because I like the dark house here. And on this one, this house was really off kilter. This is actually a house and or an actual barn with a little like awning. And then this is another barn closer. But what I liked about this was just that this house was such weird colors. It had like an orange and a little pink up there. And I absolutely love the way the sky came out on this one. So we've got the yellow sun kind of back there with this teal, and then the blue and the gray in the sky. I didn't know what this was in the background, so I made it look kind of like a mast of a sailboat. And so I'm envisioning that there's water behind there, but I really love this one. Look at all the texture in there. That was 20. 21 is mossy oak. This was a headline. Imagine that, an oak leaf managed to get into my 100 days, right? Number 22 was a precious moment seal with the ball. I just really liked the colors. I liked that it was like really soft purple and really soft kind of a blue-gray, and I liked the composition in there. So he's got a little more space back here, a little less here. And then 23 was another landscape. This one I really liked because of all the darkness. So the sky was really dark, the moon was really bright, and then you had these, they look like almost compounds next to one another, and I really liked the darkness that and the moon and the sky played off so well. But then she had all of these really wild colors down here. So I just had fun. I just really looked at my palette, what was ever on it, I kind of just stuck in the foreground here. And look at the clouds there. Isn't that pretty? And then my last one was 24. This was just a stamp that I had bought, and I liked the letter E on it. And I liked that some of the wood was showing. So picture the E raised up a little bit from its thickness, right? So it had probably 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch is how far it was raised off of the block, but you could see like the little wood behind it, and that's what I really liked about it. So I did the background first and gave it the texture, and then the actual E that looked inked, I kind of just left that a little more solid. So you can see there's a big difference going on and a lot of different things. They are all just weird and wonderful at the same time, and I am really having a blast exploring this. I am over my fear of landscapes, at least this size anyways, but it's given me the confidence to actually want to do some landscapes bigger now. I like the idea of the headlines a lot. I love that I'm practicing with my writing and seeing that it doesn't look half bad, right? I'm doing okay with it. I'm having fun putting the letters in different positions, different sizes, different shapes, and it's making me more comfortable with lettering too. So even though I picked 2 little subjects that were kind of weird, like landscapes and then the headlines, because I knew I wanted to add the words, it's really pushing me into new areas of discovery. And I want you to hear that, because I'm only 24 days in. I mean, 24 days spending 5 to 10 minutes. I'm already experiencing confidence in a different way. I'm playing around with colors. I'm learning to be loose. I mean, this is huge for me. You know, normally I am this tight all the time. So to break it out and get more movement in it and more loose and more wild, I think. I'm really enjoying that. And to think that this little challenge has already done that in 24 days for me, I can't wait to see the results I'm getting 76 more days from now. It's going to be really interesting. If you were inspired by my journey today, please leave me a like or a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please click the button. And as always, thanks for watching.